welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from Fore Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning. Welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. We are setting the show up just as Springfest is starting in downtown Southern Pines today. We were fortunate to have on the people from the Southern Pines Business Association last week to talk about the event. It's a great celebration of what this area has become to so many people. Springfest each year marks another year of growth in the changing demographics in Moore County. We have a couple of guests here who, three of them have come here as transplants through the military. One has grown up here and was raised here. And has probably a little bit of a different perspective. But we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about the real estate demographics. We're going to talk about art and the relationship between the different subjects that are here at the table. I want to introduce Tracy Gibson, who's a broker at Fore Properties. Tracy is born and raised in Aberdeen. And you probably have as good a perspective as anybody because you've been here longer than all of us put together.
That's right. I think I remember it's been 20 years, my mom and dad talking about, maybe longer, about the change with Fort Bragg and the military.
Right.
That was going to be coming in.
Right.
And it didn't really mean anything at the time. In the last 10 years, obviously, I've seen it come in, and then the more I'm in real estate, it's basically, what our town's about now.
Yeah.
But I love it. I think it brings
a vibrancy.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. But it's definitely a change from what we grew up in the small town, quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
Your parents live in the same home you were raised in.
That's right.
And we're going to come back and ask you about that because we have two local artists with us today who go a long way towards commemorating sometimes those homes and those memories through their art and how that sometimes creates a keepsake, not just for your mom and your dad, but for you and for your girls. Mm-hmm. If you show, everyone at this table has children. We have 4 moms, 4 sets of different kids, 4 sets of different problems, 4 sets of different challenges. But Tracy is Moore County born and raised. Christian McCarthy, who is also a broker at Fore Properties, you came here with your 3 children, but it was a military transfer.
Yes.
How many years ago?
5.
And you came from Maryland?
No, we were originally from Maryland. We came from Georgia.
Oh, okay. For some reason, that's evaded me.
No, it's okay.
I could have.
You didn't really listen, but it's okay. Just kidding. Of course. No, it's fine.
There's no test.
It's a test. Fail.
With all the military movement in Moore County, yes. You've seen that there's a huge undercurrent of military spouses who are have a very entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
Starting businesses. Mm-hmm. You've been in the real estate business. You've worked with military families, and you're used to that process because you and your husband have bought and sold a few homes just in the few years you've been here.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. Age of your kids?
Oh, my oldest is going to be 14 in May, and then I have an 11-year-old, and then Emery is 5.
When she sighed and said her oldest was 14, she didn't mean that he was causing any issues or problems, that everything was smooth, right?
Oh, no, he's good. He's just getting older, which makes me get, I'm getting older.
See it.
I know.
Janessa McKibbin is a lady that I met through real estate. We meet so many people through our business, and it's a privilege that we do, and she's a local artist. She's a mom of one of the cutest 5-year-olds.
5 to be, yes.
5 to be in June. And we met through the sale of a property, and then we had the privilege of getting to know each other a little bit. And you work over at Wine and Design,
yes.
which we're going to talk about, and do a lot of local art, even though you're from Arizona?
Phoenix originally.
Phoenix originally, more of an arid, drier place. Here, you describe this area as what, a forest?
It's like an enchanted fairy tale land to me compared to the desert. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. When I drive in Southern Pines down May Street and the light is shining, it just seems like, a fairy tale. It does. I'm used to the desert where you really have to look very deeply for, the trees and the foliage. So I love it here. It's beautiful. It feels like a quiet little country town, even though it's not completely isolated. It's just enough. So, yeah.
And you've been here for how many years?
6 years.
So in those 6 years, you've also had some transitions, and you've also had some new beginnings.
Right.
And you have a spirit that is very self-evident. And so I asked you to do something for me a couple of weeks ago, and that was to do a watercolor of my home, which I've owned for, this will be the 20th year. And we're going to show a picture of it. The home was built in 1950. See, my rule is that the homes have to be older than me for me to live in them. And what you did was you captured the spirit of the home. It wasn't literal. I'm not an artist, and I can't even begin to understand. I can't even speak the way you do. I don't see the world the same way. So I leave that up to you. But to commemorate a home or something that's a keepsake is a great way to express appreciation to somebody. And you also do front doors of homes, exact front doors of homes that people are buying. Right. And Tracy and Christian, how many times have you worked with clients who are first-time buyers? What that would mean to them to have something that they could take with them, whether they stay here 3 years or 6 years.
Right. No, it's beautiful. Yeah, your work was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
But not literal, right? Because art is not literal. That's photography.
Sure.
Or maybe not. I'm going to get some brush back on that one. Right, Nicola?
Something very different than to just have a photograph and then to have something that's personal, someone's interpretation that they can incorporate. The homeowner's style, what is meaningful to them.
One of the special things that we did was Janessa came to my house, and she saw the house. We talked about it. She got to know me a little bit. It helped you to do the picture, I think, as opposed to just seeing a house on the street and not knowing the person that owned it or whatever went into it.
Sure.
Because there's something that came out in between the lines that only an artist can do. And you're at Springfest.
Yes.
All day today.
Yes.
We say all day today, but you're going to have a booth there, and you're going to be selling what kind of product, what kind of art will you be showing?
I will have a variety of paintings there. I will have some of the examples here of my watercolors. I will have some oil paintings. I will have some acrylic on windows, which are great. Also, addition to your home, instead of maybe just on canvas, a painted window is beautiful for outside in your garden or inside. There's all sorts of different things. I'll have some wood-burned art. We'll be here all day from 10 to 4.
Okay. And one of the things that you do, not in your part-time, but in your full-time, is you work at Wine and Design.
Yes.
And you work with the lady to your right,
yes,
Hannah Jones, and you are the welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
You're thinking, why did I come in here to listen to these three ladies just
Yeah,
talk?
That's awesome.
You're here from Colorado. You've been here for 9, 10
Originally
years?
Colorado. We're a military family. We started in Florida, went to Washington State, and now here. And we've been here this is our 9th summer, so beginning of our 9th year.
But like a lot of people that move here, you're transitionalizing and moving away again.
Yes, yeah, we're moving away again to Boise, Idaho. This time we're trying to medically retire out of the military, so just transition, new chapter for us. We've definitely had our time in the military, and excited for new beginnings and trying to start a wine and design out there in Boise, Idaho.
Tell me about Wine and Design. I see it on social media. What's it all about?
It is a local paint and sip studio. So you come in and you're expected to follow the lead artist for a couple hours, have a beverage. It's a BYOB studio. But yeah, you can bring snacks, beer, wine, and just really relax with friends and, other customers that you might not know. We usually have some full classes going on. But yeah, you're led through usually a 2-hour session. And each painting is selected, for each day. It's on our website, on our calendar. So you'll just pop on the website, look at the calendar, and each painting is laid out. And you just kind of choose which one you'd want to do if it works with your schedule. Sign up right online, and just buy your ticket, and we'll see you that night.
So do you do a lot of group? These classes are group classes?
Yes, we have a lot of different divisions, is what we call them. We just have a regular studio class where you could pop in each night to paint. But we also have team building events. If you or your business want to get your staff together, or if you have a group of friends, you can definitely come in and do some. They just did one last night where all the paintings fit together to make one big piece. So kind of like a big mural. Otherwise, you can, just have a few different options, painting something else too.
So team building, talk about that.
Team building. So you can come into the studio, or we can go to your location. Say you guys as a staff wanted to have a painting here at your studio. We can bring all our easels, all the canvases. Every canvas is pre-drawn out. It's very easy setup, and we walk you through each step. It's very fun.
Okay. I just lost $1 bet because I said to Janessa, Tracy's gonna, when she hears the term team building, she's gonna be all over me.
Okay,
and I just lost $1.
I was already thinking that Dee would
it.
bring the drinks.
It's totally fun. And I mean, we're very mobile. Like, it's easy for us to pack up and go places. We did an event at the Fair Barn, which you guys might have heard of, over 100 people. Mm-hmm. And that was a very successful event. Paint in the Pinehurst.
What was the painting of that night?
It was the Pinehurst clock that's in the village. Mm-hmm. It's just a nice little painting.
A very quintessential depiction of Pinehurst.
Very good turnout. And we were pleasantly surprised how many tickets we sold. Definitely a big event.
You also do something called Paint It Forward. Mm-hmm. It's a play on that expression, pay it forward.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that is our fundraising division. A lot of nonprofits, they seek us out to do some fundraising for them. We have a few different, prices, but usually it's just kind of like a basic class.
Right.
But you can have like a $45 ticket, and then we return 25% of that to the organization.
Can we talk about the starving artist concept just for a minute?
Sure.
Is it, first of all, this is one of the coolest places in the country to live. Mm-hmm. And to be able to practice your art, it's not always a money-making situation, but it's about following your passion and keeping focused, and it's not easy. It's like being a singer with all the competition.
Right.
How did Wine and Design come to be here? Was it just a brainchild of a couple of local artists speaking together and pooling their resources? How did that all work?
Well, it is a franchise. It started out in Raleigh, and the CEO, Harriet Mills, they were on Shark Tank, and they sought out some more funding to get the franchise going. I want to say it's like 85 studios. About that nationwide. We have our little Southern Pine studio, and it's pretty successful. We love it. But it's definitely a challenge to keep the business going and, getting people to buy tickets. But it's a great way to have community come together. We love what we do.
Mostly men, women, combination? How would you break
mostly
that down?
women, but we love our men that come in to celebrate.
We do. You get the
Need to have
you get
somebody
the
to-
willing husband who is going to come, and then they end up having fun.
And we have a lot of date night events too, which is a great way for couples to go out and do something different besides the movies or
I saw something
dinner.
on Facebook the other day. It was a takeoff on Rugrats or something like that, but for husbands, where wives would drop their husbands off to this little institution,
I've
have a
seen
few
that.
drinks, right? In other words, it's a babysitting place for the husband so that the wives can go and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Right.
I've noticed Walmart has a similar thing. They have all of these. No, I'm serious.
Oh yeah, chairs.
Recliner chairs. What is that about?
I
There's-
think now you can pre-order ahead for Walmart, and you sit there and you wait while they get your stuff.
You sit in the recliner.
Oh, okay.
You mean for the husbands?
I've seen that.
For
It seems
anybody,
like it's
for
most-
anybody, but I think it's probably mostly used by men.
We just
'Cause the women
drag
do it all.
down everybody, don't we? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Whole another topic.
Yeah.
That's kind of coming back in section 2. We're going to talk about that. We're going to come back. We're speaking with Tracy Gibson and Christian McCarthy from Fore Properties, Janessa McKibbin and Hannah Jones from Wine and Design, and touching on a lot of bases about relationships, about working in this area, creating a life and that makes Moore County such a great place to live. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second set of All Things Moore County. Wine and Design in Southern Pines. I'm not quite sure how long it's been in business, but it certainly made an impact on social media, and you guys are obviously very busy. When I look at art, the first thing I think about are gifts. I think of ways to commemorate homes, because homes are so special to our clients, whether they stay here for a long time or if they are transitionalizing. Some people, Tracy, when they come down here, especially first-time buyers, they think they're winding up buying their forever home, but that's not the case, is it?
Not the case. I kind of share that with a lot of people.
Right.
You call them transition homes, and sometimes they
Yeah.
don't mean for them to be transition homes, but
But the first home is an important home. They
the
remember.
first home. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
They'll go back and remember it. And you, I've seen you and Christian. You guys, you do a really good job with gifts, and you do sometimes the flags, sometimes plaques.
I try to do stuff like either like All Things North Carolina.
Right.
I put together things or local to North Carolina,
Right.
or one of the states or something, just so some of the military families that kind of come in and out can remember their time here, in North Carolina, so it can always go with them, but they can always remember the 3 or 20 years they had here.
Yeah, exactly. Christian, you've had the experience of buying and selling. Is it 3 homes in this area?
2.
2 homes.
Yeah.
Your parents also came down and built a home in Whispering Pines.
They did, yes.
Of course, did you get them a housewarming gift when they did, or did you just show up for dinner?
I think I just showed up for dinner.
Rude.
Rude. I didn't.
Huh.
No, I
No.
didn't.
So it's so funny. Their home is right across the street from a home that we have listed for sale right now on Winding Trail.
Right.
It's a small town.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stood on the street and looked across the street at your parents' home, and it is meticulous.
That's my father.
That's your dad.
Oh, yeah. Type A.
And I gotta believe that they would really love something from you for it. I mean, they moved here. You have 3 kids.
I agree.
I really, don't you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Janessa and I were talking, and we have an idea, and that's why we brought in that picture of that impression, and I think we're going to shame you into it.
For your parents.
And your parents will.
I mean, they did get me when they came down here.
That's true.
That's a big gift.
They really deserve something. Then.
No.
But we have the privilege of seeing so many changes and kind of being on the front lines of those changes for a
Yes.
lot of people, and then meeting Janessa and Hannah, where they have gone ahead and started a business because of the military, the influx of the military, and tomorrow we go out and we do it again, right? I mean, have you in the last couple of years seen the market as vibrant as it is right now?
I think it's different because now I'm in it.
Yep.
So I see it from a different angle.
Yep.
So for me, it's been booming, but it could have been booming 5 years ago. I just wasn't there to see it.
Yeah.
But I have seen a change. Have you?
Oh, yes.
The thing that I'm most impressed about in our business is if you're in the real estate business and you're meeting people and it's a relational business, you can't help but form relationships that last. I mean, Tracy, even though you grew up here and you know 5,000 people, you know 500 more people. Just none of them are from North Carolina. They're all moving into town. It's just through your network.
Well, so many of my friends right now are new to North Carolina, and a lot of them are military.
That's right.
You know, through the school systems, you meet a lot of parents and teachers and become friends with them. So,
Right.
So yeah, that's been really eye-opening because you grow up here thinking that my plan wasn't to be here forever, but you grow up here thinking it's just this one group, but it's really so diverse.
So I would venture to say that there isn't a lady at the table that has met their plan 100%. There are curveballs, there are
Right.
changes. That's just life, right?
Absolutely.
And we just take all the curveballs we get and become a better hitter. I had to throw a baseball analogy in there, I guess. But I do notice there are a lot of people here who are in transition, and some with families, some with not. It just isn't the way it started out when we were kids, right? And Mom said, just the world will come to your door, and, it's not like that. That's how we grow. And we see it all the time in our business.
Right. It's so different from me to see people I know a lot of the military doesn't really have a choice, but just to see people move so freely, and I've never left North Carolina, so this is so home that I can't imagine just picking up and being able to move everybody and start over fresh.
Hannah,
It's not for everybody.
it's really
Yeah.
not. Your chapter here has been 9 or 10 years.
Right.
Did you think you were going to leave the area?
Yes, eventually we knew that we wanted to be back out west. We're from Colorado, so we're Western people. But yeah, North Carolina has been great for us, and we love this town. Have made a lot of friends and connections. I mean, that's a long time, 9 years.
And when you're in the military, all your friends and connections you keep in touch with through social media, whereas 15, 20 years ago, that wasn't the case.
Yes, social media has made everything so much easier for
Right.
me. Like, I'm on it all the time, especially for work, too. We use it a lot.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and connecting with our family back home in Colorado, too. It's just so easy to have pictures of the kids and videos and keep in touch. And it's been a blessing for sure. So we love that. Yeah, excited to move to Boise. I mean, yeah, we're about to up and leave here in the next month or two. And yeah, you just have to kind of make those decisions and go for it. And, all that stuff falls into place of, getting the pods and moving the car. And yeah, it'll all work out.
And Janessa, you made a commitment to be here.
I did. Originally, the military brought me here, but about a year and a half ago, it was kind of the decision. You can stay or go.
Right.
And, my daughter was born here, and I fell in love with this place.
Right.
And I don't really want to go back home.
Right.
It doesn't feel like home anymore. This is where I want to plant my roots, where, you have developed relationships. I think you may be the first person I've met yet, Tracy, to originally be from here.
I'm a lot of people's first.
Yeah.
She signs autographs every other weekend in front of Betsy's Grapes. Yeah.
The joke is, oh, you're the one.
Oh, you're the one from here. I really appreciate living in this town that a lot of people know each other.
Yeah. Right.
There's such opportunity to get things out there. It's
Right.
not this huge metropolitan area where, you really are a starving artist out there just on the corner with your paintings or something.
That'll be me, boys.
There's a lot of outlets and resources, and it's a much more personal environment.
Can you talk a little bit about your art? What inspires you? Where do you get your passion? And how do you maintain it when you're going up against the grain sometimes?
Well, inspiration is all around you all the time. I mean, we're constantly bombarded with input that we process and put out. So I feel that when I'm creating, it's one of the only things that I'm thinking about. And it's one of the few things that I can do where I'm not worried about what my daughter's going to eat for dinner or the bills that need to be paid or anything else in life. It's just a very...
That focus.
Yes, very relaxing, kind of meditative state. And it's often hard to get there. You know, it's not always easy to just sit down and start painting. It's a struggle, creativity.
You said something that really caught me, and I read it twice. As a child, I remember getting so frustrated when my hand didn't do what my eyes saw. Mm-hmm. So, was this like a calling? I mean, I remember when I was in kindergarten and I went to art class, it was the first time I knew that I really stunk at something and I would never be good. I was helpless and I felt like a failure. But you felt like you had a calling?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like I was born an artist. It wasn't really a choice.
Wow.
Even though I went to college and, you know, have an art history degree and a fine arts degree in painting, had I not gone to school to attempt to be a professional artist,
right,
I would still be painting.
Let's come back in the third set. That's a good way to end. This is All Things Moore County. We're talking about wine and design in Southern Pines. We're talking about relationships in Moore County and the meaning of art in our day-to-day lives here. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our final set of All Things Moore County. I cut you off, didn't mean to, but that was Dorothy cutting me off. We were talking, okay, Janessa, about your influences, your calling, and you've been consistent all throughout your life. It's been a passion, and you find ways to express it.
Right. Thankfully, I'm very grateful that I have found such a passion that is innately within me. I feel like a lot of people struggle with, you know, purpose and being, myself included. But art has always been a constant, be it through just creating on paper or even just in my everyday life. I feel like how it appears to me visually and how I put things together is... it's just how I work. It's what makes me tick.
But the economics of art also mean that you probably will have to step outside of yourself a little bit and do some things for Christian and Tracy and I, sometimes to help accommodate our clients because they're meaningful gifts. Sure.
You're always asked the question, oh, you're an artist, what do you paint? Everything. You know, there's certain things that I gravitate more towards.
Like what?
Like structures and permanence, more people, pets, buildings, things that people can visualize. Of course, there's some abstract things and ideas that are formulated usually from something concrete, you know, taking a flower and abstracting it into your own vision. But I like to be able to take something that we all can see, and this is relative in wine and design also. When you have a teacher and everybody has the same tools and the same picture, and things come out, everybody's is individually different. Right. So I find pleasure in painting somebody's home, painting somebody's, you know, children, because that's a little bit more difficult because, you know, the interpretation is always different. But to be able to put your own spin and depiction on something that we all may think is the same, everything is interpreted much differently.
When you did the watercolor of my house, you captured something that my eyes see all the time. And that was the preponderance of the trees and the background and the fact that the landscaping was natural and not symmetrical, where you had these 90-degree angles, right? and for whatever reason, you sense that that's one of the things that I liked about the property, and that's what you captured.
Right.
Was that intentional?
Absolutely. I feel like in your art, you're so vulnerable in putting everything on paper because people may not like it, they may not like it, and that's what makes art subjective.
Mm-hmm.
I like to capture the emotion, the feel, and that can be in the color and the strokes, the lighting. The same house can be painted multiple ways at different times of day, and it will look different every time. So I think one of my goals in recreating something is to definitely capture the feel and the emotion.
I should ask you this, and I should ask you, Hannah, the same thing. So who are your biggest influences? To have this passion, to fuel it, you have to model, you have to have something that you're shooting for, a goal or a model.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think for
Hannah?
me, well, I love all the spectrums. Like, I loved taking art history in college and just seeing all the different styles. For me, I really gravitated towards like the Renaissance era, and Caravaggio is one of my favorite artists. Just the bright contrast that he would do with his paintings. But, that's what I love about our job too, is that we have such a different array of styles. We have acrylic pour classes, we have the chunky blanket, we have DIY palettes, we have all these different ideas coming together, and I feel like for myself it really helps me grow as a person, because I'm kind of stepping outside of my comfort zone with learning about acrylic pour, where you're just dumping the paint on canvas and letting it do its own thing and being very abstract. So it's really rewarding for me to kind of grow in different areas. I mean, growing up and through college, I did a lot of portraits, a lot of realism, oil paintings,
Really?
kind of serious stuff. So yeah, it's kind of nice now to loosen up and have fun with the job. And
Yeah.
I worked as a art teacher for many years down in Rayford, and that was a very rewarding experience. But times are tough and funding and all that. So yeah, wine and design was an awesome transition.
But there's an element to what you guys do that's also very didactic. You're teaching, you're mentoring, you're coaching,
Right.
right? And you're trying to help people find something that they might not even know they had.
Right.
And something I find so interesting in a class where you have all different individuals, and as I said before, all the same instruction and tools. You can tell so much about people's personalities
Right.
in how they work. Yes. You can tell
That's
the
what
type
Christian
A,
and Tracy say about me in my office. We can really tell a lot, right?
You can. You can tell the people who are a little more laid back about it, and that's probably how they approach life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a sense of how they are.
What do you do when Tracy or Christian or someone from our office signs up a group, and then a guy like me walks in, and I look around and I feel like I'm in a foreign country? Why would I be there? What would you do with someone like me who doesn't even know how to put a brush to
That's
canvas?
how I feel I'd do too.
You said you were an art major?
I was.
Oh, yeah.
But then I
Did you fail?
realized
But who goes to art school and then realizes they can't draw or do art?
I used
I kind of feel like
well,
you
Christian,
figured that out in high school.
I used to be able to. I was good in high school, and then I went to college and I was good a little bit, and then all of a sudden I was like, maybe I'm not. And then I also realized that if I stayed in it, I would be an art teacher more than likely, and then I wasn't great with kids.
So what about your girls? You have 3 girls. Any of them have any art skills?
Yeah, a little bit. Sometimes they'll pull out stuff, and I'm like, oh, but
Who more than another?
actually, Hanley's starting to surprise me.
Is that right?
youngest. Yeah, she really likes to draw and get colors out and all that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just so not crafty anymore. I think college just ruined it, and now I'm awful at it.
Or age.
It's practice.
No.
But that brings up a really good point. I think it's so important for children, and as you said, we all know that funding in the arts is
Oh, yeah. It's a tough ride.
I'm really big into supporting friends that want to do art, because I'm now at my age with what I've been through with art, and if I see somebody that has talent, like I'm trying to talk a friend in that's quitting her job into doing some summer programs this summer with kids, because she's got this talent, and I really want her to use it, because I wish I had that talent, and so I'm a little jealous of the talent, to be honest with you.
You know what's amazing is that with my 5-year-old, when I turn the television off, and nobody's allowed to turn it on, she gravitates towards, well, I'm just going to go color and draw, and she'll do it for hours.
Yeah.
But as soon as I turn the television back on, then it's done.
And they use their imagination.
Right.
Her 4-year-old, well, she's
5.
going to be 5.
No, she is
She's
5.
5.
Yeah.
When she was 4,
Yeah.
she was a little bit insular. Not now. Now she's expressing herself. She's finding some power. There's some videos you've posted of her singing.
Oh, yeah.
She's completely like getting comfortable with her power and her voice. And you must see that in kids, especially in art.
Yes. Yes. My daughter, the same thing. She's starting now to sing, and she finds confidence in, wow, the reward and the acknowledgement of them using their imaginations, and be it painting or writing or singing or dancing, it's all such a form of expression that
It's a beginning
we
stages.
should not subdue.
It's the beginning stages of obtaining self-esteem,
Right.
and that you have value, which is important. Well, the event today, we hope a lot of people come over and see you.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you'll talk to them, you'll talk about your art. It's not just selling. But I have a question. If you were to do a door for a house, for me, and I approached you and I said, we just sold a home and we really feel we like this client a lot, and we want to, what kind of prices are we looking at?
It depends on the size.
Okay.
It depends on the medium. Most of the ones I'm doing now are watercolor. It's it's a much easier material to work with. It's
Water than oil.
Transportable.
Right.
Yeah, it's not toxic. You can sit in the park. You could sit in the front of the house, do a few sketches, take some photos, go back to the studio, and rework it. Usually some of the examples behind me are, 8 by 10, 9 by 12, and they would range from 100, 150, 200, depending on if they're framed or not.
Or even like the one you did for me, 300 to 500, which is fine. Sometimes we, as business people, think, well, we'll do a gift, but then there's a tax write-off. But you know what? Sometimes we make choices. We have the freedom to choose what we want to do.
Right.
And there's a freedom in doing that. And it's not about the tax write-off. It's about the gift.
Right.
So just to give people some parameters, anywhere from 75 to 150 for a door,
Right.
framed.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Did you do mine from photographs, or did you sit there and do it at my house? How did you do it?
I went to your house a few times, not to be stalkerish. I did take some photos, but I did go back just to kind of verify,
Yeah.
check my P's and Q's and make sure and get more comfortable with it.
Well, it was a great litmus test because you did what, if I could, that's what I would do. Not that I would know how, but you did it for me, and you saw it through my eyes, and that's a gift, I think.
That's a compliment. Thank you.
It is. It's the truth. We have to wind down. Hannah, 9-10 years here. You're on to Idaho and wine and design out there.
Right.
What happens to the one here?
It has 2 other owners, so
Okay.
it'll stay.
She had
Yeah.
recommended you to take over.
She
with
did
your,
not.
She
She's
did.
been
Trying to
me.
recruit me to come work
I
out there.
know. I need some help out in Idaho. So yeah, I'll have to recruit some gals or a fellow, maybe an artist. But yeah, it'll be tough to leave. I mean, we've been here for a long time, have a lot of roots with family and friends.
Yeah.
So
We're going to miss you.
yes, I'll miss everyone for sure.
Christian, thanks for coming.
Thank you for
Tracy,
having
thanks
me.
for coming in.
Thank you.
Janessa, it was a pleasure.
Yes.
Hannah, same to you. I hope everyone gets over to Springfest. It's in full throttle right
Yes,
now.
we've got all sorts of stuff, lots of vendors.
Everyone have a great week. This is All Things Moore County.